Good morning, dear Anna. Anna Tsygankova is our guest this morning. She kindly agreed to answer some questions from Ballet Icons platform. We are welcoming you, Anna, to our platform this morning. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to see you. And I would like to say again how enjoyable our cooperation in the past was and how much we look forward to the future to welcome you back in London and to collaborate with you in other places. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It's great to see you.
So I will start with my first question, our traditional question. And of course, in Amsterdam, you just started your training in the studio back in the theater, but still, can you tell how was the lockdown period for you? How was your routine, everyday training, and how you were managing during this period?
Yes, well, first of all, Ola, hi again. Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, well, lockdown, definitely it took some adjustment, of course. And I must say, first 2 weeks, probably it felt like, oh, it's a rest and I can catch up on the sleep because I haven't slept for 2 years and becoming a mom. And
I know why. Yes.
Yeah. And then after I felt that was some, like probably mostly psychological difficulties to be able to adjust to this new reality. And well, I must say we didn't have it as hard in Amsterdam as some other countries because our lockdown was basically not as strict as, let's say, in Italy or Spain or some other countries. So we were able to get out and enjoy the spring, and we just had to be distant from one another, which actually took the most adjustment. You know, you had to get around people, you couldn't get close, you couldn't just communicate as normal. And well, that was difficult for me. Let's say after 2 weeks, you wanted to get back to normal way of living, but of course, you could not. And regarding the ballet training, I am quite lucky because my home has a garden/terrace and has a wooden floor.
We've seen your beautiful pictures with your training in the garden.
Yes, thank you. And that was very lucky, and it is really lucky. So, because I still can do a lot of things in the garden, though we have started, as you said before. Yeah, I'm teaching ballet classes from the garden, and it's been pretty enjoyable. And how to say, yes, it is definitely something new. And yeah, probably the world in a way needed this sort of pause in order to make some conclusions about the way we live. And I hope we can bring out of this experience a great and new knowledge about how we should go on with our lives.
Well, yes, thank you very much for sharing this. We'll move to our next question. What was the strongest, the most powerful memory from your schooling training time when you were going to become a young ballerina during your youth? Maybe one of the memories.
Well, I actually do have a lot of moments like that, but maybe this one, which in a way defined my career, which direction I would go. That was the only time when Lausanne competition took place in Moscow Bolshoi Theater. And that's been my in ballet school, and we went, me, my schoolmate, another girl, and my ballet master, we all went to Moscow and participated, of course. And I remember being on stage of Bolshoi and just mesmerized by its beauty and its sort of grandiose feeling. And I mean, of course, it's Bolshoi. And, you know, after everything has ended, you know, that was great for me. I got a silver medal, and I saw John Newmeyer for the first time, and I mean, that's great memory, of course. And I remember crossing over the Moscow River on the way to the airport, and I was blown away by this early morning view of Moscow. And I remembered so like loudly and so clearly that voice which said inside me, I want to live in this city and I want to dance in Bolshoi theater. And well, not even 3 years later, that came true. And so that my life, my ballet path took a
You
turn.
can almost say if you really something want to happen, it will happen. But of course,
well, it's actually truth, like, and many other moments of my life actually proved that not theory even, but that truly is, our thoughts, they form our life for sure. And yeah, I can say more story of that sort. And truly, like, especially like if you take a career, like if you have some kind of the goal, the orientation of you wish something really to happen for yourself. I mean, you just have to be very strong about it and then sort of let it go. And almost when you forgot about it, it will come back to you.
Come back.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, wonderful moment here you've shared. And as you said, you have many more, but that was one of the strongest.
Yeah, well, that considers like probably the places you want to dance, the countries you want to see, or like the people you want to dance. For instance, I always wanted to dance with Roberto Ballet, and I probably took 8 years, and then since and yes, and now we are friends. I am a regular guest on his ballet and friends performances, and we dance together. So I mean, yeah, just wish for things and they will become true.
Well, fantastic advice you can give to many others. Which contemporary choreographers had the biggest influence on you as a dancer, and with whom you've enjoyed working the most?
Again, there is not only one.
I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's say I've never had an honor to be choreographed on by, let's say, John Neumeier or William Forsythe. But I mean, to dance these ballets, it's just
a huge influence on you as a dancer.
Yeah. And it's almost like, let's say, Lady of the Camellias. I almost feel like, oh my God, that ballet was created on me, It's just...
We love this role, the way you're performing it. It's absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. But that's what I mean. I think why the great choreographers, amongst many other things, are great choreographers, because their choreography, the way they create their vision is, it's almost like a dress which will fit you, even if it was tailored on somebody else, because you can make it your own, and from the choreographers who actually created on me, I do have an incredibly deep connection I'm grateful for, is Christopher Wilden. And yes, so basically the vision this man has, the way he creates, he works in the studio, it's just amazing to witness. So I'm really grateful for being able to work with this amazing choreographer.
Wonderful. And of course, in Amsterdam, you have such an opportunity to meet so many fantastic choreographers.
Yes, I think just a few. I mean, because yeah, every time it's a great experience, and definitely it's an experience so new for you. Yeah, I have a chance to develop as an artist, and to learn. Always to learn. That's the goal, to always educate yourself and move forward. Yeah.
Well, that's why people and artists especially, who always want to learn and they never stop learning, they're progressing and they're becoming absolutely exceptional. Yeah. What about classical roles? Which are your favorite classical roles? Maybe you would like to share some memories from performing some of them, classical roles?
Well, again, not only one, but when I was 17 years old, it was the last year in ballet school. So I had my first one leg, which I danced at that deal with the company, the Novosibirsk Ballet. So that was definitely something. And the role of a d'eau, it's truly special to me, and I've done it so many times in so many versions, and yeah, it's a wonderful journey to see also how these roles they've changed as I have changed, of course. And another one would be, let's say, Don Quixote. Of course, I love Kitri very much, and we had a wonderful journey together as well. And Giselle, oh my God, Giselle, of course, Giselle. And you know, it's honestly, whenever there is a time to get back to certain ballet, let's say, which I just named, because
probably every time when you come back to these roles, you discover something new and you add something.
Also, yeah, because it's like to get back to an old friend, you know, you didn't see for a while, and then you catch up and you actually share that experience you've gained for this time. And yeah, you cannot compare obviously the Swan Lake, which I done 17 years old, and which I would do now. Yeah, and as it goes for every other roles, of course. So that's wonderful about our profession. So we can revisit and then we can bring it on a different level.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Recently you became a mother, and how was this process for you to become a mother and then returning to the stage? How long did it take you? Of course, many ballerinas would not consider becoming a mother because we know how difficult it can be and disruptive for the career and going back to the stage. How was it for you? You've been so disciplined from what I've seen and I know. Can you share it with us?
Oh, of course. I actually must say that I am very fortunate with everything regarding of this aspect of my life, because, well, my pregnancy was very easy. I mean, I haven't been sick for one day. And also, after giving birth, I was not rushing come back, because basically that year there was not the ballet I would be able to come back with, you know, so that would be Don Quixote within 2 months, which of course I wouldn't consider to come back, you know, and
no one would.
Yeah, I mean, and the end of the season would be David Dawson, which would be way too hard to come back with. And yeah, so basically I had 6 full months to take my time, you know, to enjoy every day. And of course this has, I could not say changed me. It did change my life for, I can't say even for better, I mean, completely, but also it sort of added up so much richness and depth to my life. So that's incomparable, you know.
To your performing even, surely.
Well, that's definitely would be affected, because, well, to me, life off stage and on stage is, there is no line between it, actually, you know. It's so fused together and one deeply reflects on another. I just want to say that, yes, I was very lucky, so I didn't have to rush. And then when I had to come back, like very comfortably, somehow the rep was also, that year, the rep happened to be for me, which allowed me to very gradually to come back, you know. But the funny thing, my very first appearance on stage, actually, at our annual opening season gala, my piece, which was created by Rudy van Danzig for Balakleets, so basically all in the past, was broadcasted live, honestly, you know. It's just, okay, everyone must have a very good confidence in me. So after being off for so long, you know, it's been the only piece chosen to be broadcasted. So that was actually very nice, a stimulation as well. And yeah, it's very fortunate every step of me coming back. And yeah, I'm very grateful for having that experience, of course.
Well, you should be really, really admire how you handled and returned to the stage and kept with your very, very busy performing career. Congratulations again on this. Let's talk about dancing partners. What do you value the most in your dancing partners? What can you forgive and what can you not forgive in your dancing partners? I'm sorry about this another challenging question, but this is how
I actually do know how I would like to answer to this. about forgiving, I think in this case, it depends on the person, how easily a person can forgive someone or something, or it's not that easy. And to me personally, there is a line, if we speak about dancing partners, you know, honestly, one cannot insult or offend another person out of love. It always comes out of fear or insecurity. And basically, I find I cannot be holding grudges with a person who is actually not being really happy. That's why it's doing those things, you know, firstly to himself, which affects others. Well, and the limit comes to me when the line is crossed, where my relationship with my partner would not be true anymore. So I would have to fake it, you know, in order to, let's say, perform something together. Let's say we would need to share love and true, kind emotions. But when you have the hurt inside, or any sorts of like bad things, not worked out things, that will make your performance fake. And that's for me unacceptable. So as you know, there's a special term for an artist who can deeply touch you, you know, by whose performance you can be really changed, transformed, or harmonized, or so the term is true artist. So it says for itself, the words speak for itself, the truth. And when I cannot be true, that stops right there.
Honestly,
so,
honestly.
yeah.
Thank you so much for your honest answer. Thank you very much. Who were your true ballet heroes who possibly shaped you as a ballerina today?
Well, I remember since day one, I consciously remember myself, I wanted to dance. And my mom always wanted to dance well, but she is a musician, my whole family. And she loved Galina Ulanova. So Galina Ulanova was the first ballerina who I actually looked at. Yeah, her honesty, her tenderness, her almost belonging to some other levels of reality, that what actually I remember first. And I think that originated the path of like the orientation where I would go. And I mean, Ola as well, it's so hard to name just, you know,
Of course.
7, you know, because for every role, let's say, I would take my inspiration from different ballerinas, but also not only ballerinas, I would also be looking at paintings or listening music, or sort of take my inspiration from all art, different art fields. So that's, I think, that's a good thing to do, because that enriches your role very much, you know.
Definitely. So thank you very much. What about teaching in your life? Do you do some teaching?
Love it.
And yes, you love it.
Yeah.
Why do you love it? What do you want to give as a teacher to your students? What's the best advice you can give to young dancers?
Well, right now I'm becoming very sad about the tendency which ballet world has reached, especially with young generations. You know, ballet is the art which can be given from person to person. You cannot learn ballet from YouTube. You know, you have to be very careful defining ballet. This is not a top sport, which I hear more often right these days. We are artists, and we are called artists for a reason. You know, just if I was to teach, the first thing would be, I say, you of course have to have a very strong technique in order to be able to deliver the message as an artist. But this is not a goal, okay? So this is something which is your tool that helps you. And actually, once you reached a technical level which will allow you to deliver that message, you forget about technique, because that's not a goal, as I said. So how many more of like 12 pirouettes on points or walking legs or jumps all over, like to the ceiling, you know, that can be mesmerizing for a couple of minutes, you know, but that's not what ballet is. And I truly hope that it's not gonna go that direction. So people will actually, like young generations, will remember that we are called art and artists for a different reason.
What a beautiful answer.
So, well, I hope you liked it. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And the final question would be, what was the biggest lesson for you during this difficult lockdown period? What you've missed the most? What is the biggest lesson you've learned for yourself?
Well, I started to feel more as a part of a whole, you know, because that time of reflection made me realize that every person on this planet matters. We are all connected, and that's our like first responsibility is to take care of ourselves. If you remember the Little Prince, you know, take care of yourself, then take care of your planet. I always think about that, because if you take yourself as, let's say, a cell of the whole organism, you know, your happiness, your personal happiness, your personal harmony is very important, because you becoming a very happy cell of the whole thing, you know. And I think it's truly important to sustain this quality of life of your spirit, and you should use any tool possible, you know, to keep it up every day. And my latest message, which when I announced the streaming of Matahari on our channel, I said, yes, I hope that we can take this time as a reboot, and I hope our new normal will be not our old normal. Probably we shouldn't go to our old ways, you know. We have to find new ways in order to live a happier, fuller life, not only as individuals, but also as a whole society and as whole humanity. And that's what I was thinking a lot about during this lockdown. Yeah.
Thank you very much for such an inspirational discussion we had with you. Thank you so much for opening this, for being so open, honest with all your answers. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And of course, we can't wait to see you again, to be working with you, welcoming you back in London, and wishing you all the very, very best. Thank you so much. Anna Tsygankova was with us this morning. Thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you, Anna. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.